webinar are basics to social media and using social media in a shared lives context. I don't know how many of you were on the call last week, but it's good to see lots of you on here. I suppose we ran out of time last week. There's a lot to cover, even in the basics, and so as we explained last time, this is all about trying to build up your digital skills ahead of Shared Lives Week, to try to engage people, especially your carer and your carer worker networks, and doing it digitally and online, which is becoming obviously ever more important anyway, and with the COVID crisis is absolutely paramount now. So last week we kind of covered some theory and some of the basics about what social media is, why it's important, and I suppose ways to start thinking about planning your activity and getting a strategy in place to make sure that you are boosting your profile, reaching more people, and saying the right kinds of things. I suppose the last thing that we kind of covered last week was about posting on social media, so kind of getting into it and starting to think about how to post and how to post well, creating good content. Phoebe has posted a link in the chat to the digital toolkit that we've made, and that includes the guide, which is kind of the accompaniment to these webinars that are created, and will also include all the step-by-step instructions that we went through last week, and also includes some of the theory I've been talking about. We've also got resources in there, so we've got some pre-created social media posts for you to use, for you to get started, some template images for you to use, and we'll be covering that off shortly, using Canva, which is a free design resource, which is absolute lifesaver. And and of course now we'll also be covering, as Phoebe mentioned, curating good content, which is a fancy way of saying sharing stuff that other people have done, but doing it in a way that helps to build relationships and helps to build your online profile as someone, as an entity with expertise and as a source for good content and good information in your particular sector. Welcome everyone, thanks for joining. So as Phoebe mentioned, because we were a bit squeezed for time last week, it's probably worth going over the creating posts again. And so we discussed, I think, why it's, well, I suppose there are certain things that we need to bear in mind when we're writing for the shared lives sector, generally, because we are a unique sector and we've got certain explicit strengths. Shared lives is full of like warmth, compassion, it's human, and it's got an energy to it, which I think gives us a lot of, gives us great advantages to be able to kind of talk in an engaging way online. And we mentioned that it's very important to be story-led, to be able to use the stories from within your network of the matches, of the inspiring kind of outcomes and lives that shared lives matches lead. And we really advocate for a very story-led kind of content strategy. And on the digital toolkit online, you'll see a resource that we created for our conference, for a Shared Lives Plus conference workshop that we did last year, which is all about harnessing stories and the power of storytelling. But alongside the kind of those general rules and themes that we want you to think about in terms of writing for in any kind of communications or promotional context for your scheme, there are some quite concrete and clear rules that you should apply specifically to posting on social media. And we covered off a basic checklist, which was basically around reviewing each post that you make and making sure it includes a couple of basic elements. So the first being that each post needs really to contain an image, and we explored a bit that we think that there are certain types of image that we need to be able to project the right impression of shared lives and to really do it justice. And you know, we want to see as many photographs of matches of shared lives, households, and families and showing them in a positive and in a fun light. And we're especially interested in kind of, I think, getting shots of people in action doing things. It doesn't have to be earth shattering, doesn't have to be like skydiving or anything, but it's ways of showing that people in shared lives are active, and that shared life supports them to, you know, kind of like live rich and full and engaging kind of lives. So we really want to try and avoid stilted shots of people just sitting down, and the kind of things that you see regularly in the wider social care sector, which we want to try to get away from. So that's paramount, a good image, and we're going to go through that in the next part of this session, how to create good images in a free design tool called Canva. I suppose the second really important element is kind of the who, what, when, where, and why. The post needs to make it clear who you're addressing, why you're posting it, what the purpose is of your post, why is it relevant for your audience. And we covered off purpose a little bit last week, and it's probably worth thinking about your wider communications aims at this point. And you know, we isolated probably 4 or 5 key reasons why you would want to post at any time, and some of the recurring ones will be to raise awareness of shared lives as an option for people who might want to use the service, and also to try to recruit more carers. They're your kind of 2 primary recurring ongoing campaigns, as it were. And then there'll be more ad hoc stuff, but which could be equally as important, like letting carers know about an important event or development or a type of announcement. And this is absolutely key, again, is finding things out from your carer network. One of the key strengths of social media is that it enables this kind of a more two-way dialogue, and it's actually a really important listening tool, as well as a place just to push your messages out. And yeah, so you want to kind of have one of those outcomes in mind each time you post, and make sure that everything you write kind of comes back to that purpose. And finally, I'd say it's always really important, where relevant, to include a link and a call to action. So, you know, if you are posting about an event, make sure you link to that event. If it's about recruitment, link to the web page where people can make an inquiry on your Shared Lives website or your local authority website. So I don't know whether it'd be useful for me to go through the posting again on a screen share. What do you think, Phoebe? For anyone who missed it? Oh, you're on mute, but I think I saw you mouth. I think that sounds great. So
it's true. Good reading.
Yeah, nice. Okay, right. Well, I'm going to begin to share my screen now, and we can just go through posting as we did last week. Right, I'm going to leave those existing pages open, because I want to use them later, curating the content. So we'll start with Facebook, and we're just going to really quickly go through creating a post again. So I hope everybody can see my Facebook screen here. Remember, last week we went through setting up a profile and setting up a page. Whenever you log into Facebook, you'll always be on a home page like this, and you will always want to be posting as your page rather than as a person. So your page is always in the right-hand column here. Click on that. The option to create a post is below your header image, and it's always kind of at the top here. There's a lot kind of going on this page, but you will get used to kind of zeroing in on the stuff that's most relevant to you, and creating a post is always at the top here. So we want to write a post. Simply click in that box. You begin to write your content here like this, and I'll tell you what we'll do. I'm going to grab an example post that we've created as part of the toolkit. So just cut that and paste it in here. Maybe we won't. It's not working, but so we'll just add some text now. Right, and to add an image, which we'd always recommend, you simply click photo video here.
Some amazing statistic about how posts with an image get viewed more than like twice as much as a post without an image. That goes for both Facebook and Twitter. So sometimes I think it's quite nice to have posts that don't have images, because it's like just chatting along. But if you want something to get seen and commented on, or you're trying to start a conversation or really stick in people's minds, then an image is really important.
It might take a little while to load. As you can see here, it's kind of buffering. But when it stops doing that, that means it's ready. So
the link in there as well.
Yeah, so we can link.
You could always just end your post like, want to become a Shared Lives carer too, or fancy a change of lifestyle, or if you're trying to promote membership, then talk about like the forum or some membership benefits like shopping discounts, or
yeah,
or the carer support team are always on hand. Give them a call, and here's the phone number. There's always somewhere to go. It's not just pushing information out. And I think Facebook especially is a good place to start conversations. So I'm sure lots of you are doing it already, but in Shared Lives Week, during lockdown, you could ask carers, you know, what are they doing to keep occupied, to share ideas amongst each other, and that helps build community and that people know they're not alone in it all.
So we've got our link in there now, so we've added a call to action. So if you or someone you know could open your home and heart to someone who needs support, start your Shared Lives journey today. And we are here linking it to our recruitment inquiry portal on our website. Right, we're going to post. And that's that. So that's now gone out to all of our followers. And yeah, that's how we post on Facebook. So we're going to maybe do the same thing on Twitter now. Can everyone see my Twitter screen? So at the top, you always whenever you log into Twitter, this is what your screen will look like. You'll always have these options down the left-hand side, and you'll at the top of your feed, which is the central part of your page, central part of the page that you'll be looking at any one time, and is where basically everyone that you follow, where all those posts are listed and appear in chronological order, but also there are also other elements to the Twitter algorithm that maybe decide what appears there, and sometimes it'll be to do with what it thinks is most relevant for you and what you're most interested in. But for you to post on Twitter, for you to tweet, the option is always here at the top, kind of front and center. But just like with Facebook, just click in the text box and start typing. Hashtag this, which we'll go through in another session.
Sometimes on Twitter, they'll give you more space to write longer posts, but usually you have to be shorter on Twitter.
Yeah, so is it 180 characters or 280? I can't remember.
I think it changes. Sometimes they give you more room and sometimes they don't. I did like a trial because it started out just being 140.
Yeah, they've increased it steadily over the years anyway. They used to call, I mean, Twitter used to be branded as a micro blogging platform. That's what they used to call each tweet as a micro blog. So
there's just a couple of questions that have come up on the chat. So Kerry from Hertfordshire is saying, can she change the account name to Shared Lives Hertfordshire? And you can do, but there are limits on how often you can do that, because obviously they're trying to protect identity. So I think you might have to wait something like 60 or 90 days to change it. So that's a really good question. You want to make sure that you get the name of your page and your profile right the first time round.
Yeah, it does make it
relevant to the location
formally. Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I was just saying you are right. It makes you request. You have to request it from Facebook support to be able to do it formally, to change your page name. But it is possible. But like you said, there's an approval waiting time. But I didn't know it was that long.
Yeah, if you want to change your name, you have to wait quite a long time. And then Gisela has asked, can you show how to create a linked private page for Shared Lives Carers, please? We have a Facebook page, but don't want to post many pictures of the people we support. So do you mean you want to create a group for Shared Lives Carers that's private? I'm not quite sure. Oh yeah. Okay, we can cover that off later. Is that all right, Michael?
We're going to talk about groups in the next session, actually. But I mean, I suppose we can run through the basics now. If you create a private group, and you decide the settings when you create it. Any member that posts something into that, only fellow members can see it. We're going to discuss groups in one of the next sessions because it's more. There's a number of algorithm changes that have happened since late 2018 on Facebook, which means that if you're part of a group, Facebook gives group posts a lot more prominence now than it used to. So creating a group is actually a really useful technique and tactic, and posting in them is prioritized and is given greater visibility on people's feeds. So yeah, we can maybe cover that off a bit later in this session, but we're going to cover it in detail in the next one. So I'm just going to finish this tweet, and just similarly, so basically the same as the Facebook post, and we're just copying our link in here. I'm going to add an image. And then in the bottom right, you click tweet. So add in the image, you always need to click this kind of landscapey picture in the bottom left. You can add GIFs and emojis too, which is quite straightforward, but we're just going to keep it simple for now.
I really like the emojis. I think they add a bit of like keeping it, a bit more informal, and
yeah, and there's more and more.
It can be a bit boring sometimes, so I think it's like good to make it stand out. A bit more human. Oh, I'm not really picking up on how he is adding the link. Oh, Michael, could you just talk through how you added that web link?
Right, let me delete it and I'll get rid of it and then we'll add it again. So I've copied my URL from this page here, which is the web page of our recruitment, where you begin your inquiries to start becoming a Shared Lives carer. I cut and paste, so Control-C, this URL up here, and then move back to my Twitter post, and just at the end.
So you copy it. What do you want to show? Like the right-click version of doing that as well?
Okay, so yeah.
To the web page that you want to promote.
So
select it.
Select it all like that, and then you can right-click it. Click copy. You go over, and then you can right-click again and paste like that, or I just do Control-V and just add it into the box like that.
They're really helpful commands. If you hold down the Control-C, that copies the text, and Control-V pastes it. That's just a little shortcut on computers.
Yeah.
That in Word documents as well.
Yeah, and if you want to actively lift it from somewhere else, and you don't want the text to stay where it was, then you can click Control-X, which is to cut rather than to copy and paste. So there we are. A completed post, and I've even done a little stars in their eyes emoji. And once you're happy with everything, always worth giving it a check over to see that you're happy with the kind of spelling, grammar, how it looks and kind of reads. And then you click tweet here. There is an option, I suppose we'll get into this another time, but the option next to the tweet button is a way of creating a thread. So before you post this one single tweet, if you've got a lot that you want to say and it's going to cover more than just the one tweet, you can cascade them by adding another one beneath it like that. But we're not going to bother with that for now. So we just tweet that out. And there we are. So that now has appeared on our feed because we know of ourselves, but it will also have appeared in all of our followers' feeds as well. And that's a recap on how we post on Twitter and Facebook. We're now going to explore the power of images and how to kind of create a branded image using a brilliant tool called Canva. And we're going to start off by creating a Canva account. I mean, this tool is such a lifesaver. It's brilliant. We now at Shared Lives Plus, we now have an Adobe Creative Suite account, and we've got access to Photoshop, video editor, and we're slowly kind of trying to build our skills upon that. But before we had that, and to be honest, this is still what we use the most to create images for online. We used Canva. So first things first, we go to Canva, canva.com. And just to show you how to set up a profile, we're logged in as Shared Lives Plus here, but I'm going to just sign us out so I can talk you through getting set up. It's so easy. It's easier than getting set up on Facebook and Twitter. So on the left here is your option to either log in or sign up. Hang on, we're going to just click sign up in the top right there. I'm going to sign up with email. So my helpful assistant, Nick, I'm going to be you again. So obviously used up my amount of So you enter your password, so your name, your email address, and a password. Nick, I'll delete this once we're done. So that's it, name, email, password, and you get started like so. This is a new feature where it's kind of giving you a bit of an introduction if it's the first time you've used it, and it asks you to select what kind of entity you are or in what capacity you'll be using this. I recommend either use select small business or non-profit or charity, and it doesn't make a huge deal of difference, but it just kind of curates what you see a little bit and gives you different options. So this is quite a useful tool here. So you're able to invite your team to collaborate on designs. But what I would suggest, so what you can do is all the names of your colleagues who you'd also like to be able to use this, input them in here. So like so, and send a free invite. But you can skip that, and I actually just recommend giving everyone who needs access to this, just give them all the login, the details that you created at the start. It's now asking us, again, this is part of its introductory experience. It's asking us what kind of thing we'd like to create, and as you can see, it gives you a load of different options, and these are just a handful. There's actually tons of different types of posts you can create, and the reason it's set up like this is because different social media platforms have different optimal image sizes and dimensions, and what's great about Canva is it sets them up at the optimal size, so you don't have to bother. You know that if your design fills the space they've created, then it's the perfect size for Facebook or Twitter or whatever it is. So we'll just select Facebook post for now. It's now pulled us through to the kind of main screen, your home kind of page on Canva, which is what you'll see anytime you log in and anytime you want to create a new post. So
that says Facebook. Oh, sorry, Michael. The top it says Facebook cover. Did you want to create a new cover or an actual post?
Well, it doesn't really matter, to be honest, because I can go back now and I can select a different type of template up here if I want. I think.
Just so you get the right size. I think you have to go back to the home page.
All right, yeah. I didn't really want that introduction anyway, to be honest. It's
here you go. This is what you usually see.
Yeah, this is what you should normally see. In fact, you know what? I think shall I log out and log in as Shared Lives Plus?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Then they can see everything.
Yeah. So okay. So that's how we set up an account anyway. And as you can see, it's nice and quick, and it doesn't even make you verify anything like the other platforms do. It's really nice and easy. So here's one I made earlier. Here's one I prepared earlier, a login. So this is our Shared Lives Plus account. We'll log in now. Right, and so this is you're right, Phoebe, this is the home screen as you should see it when you log in, as you would usually once you've created your profile.
Just show the designs so people can see what we're working towards, where it says all your designs.
Yeah, so when you've been working on Canva for a while, it saves all your designs and it saves the different elements that you put in together in your designs as well. So if you click all your designs, this is kind of like the library of all the stuff that we've created and we've posted on here. So as you can see, there's quite a lot. Wow, they look great, don't they? So
can you see how they're kind of branded? This is when we first started out, these ones here, we're going like text kind of look, but we're now using the brand more, so further to the top. Oh, look, there's our old brand as well.
Yeah, so it's funny actually, it's like going back in time. So up here you can see that we've kind of, well, we've evolved what we can do now, because we've got branded images, we've got the design elements of the new brand that we like to use, the font, the colors, illustrations that are all in place, and it's given us a lot more flexibility and just looks a lot more professional and consistent.
So we're going to show you how to use these templates because we've shared them with you on that link I shared earlier. You can create your own posts with these backgrounds.
Yeah. Yeah, so on part of the digital toolkit, as Phoebe mentions, there are, I think there's up to, I think it's 10, is it, or 9 template images that include some of these illustrations that you can see, and also just the kind of text and color that we use and the shapes that we use to frame things, which make them look like nice and cool. And we really would encourage you to use them because they're a great place to kind of get started. They're like professionally taken photographs of real shared lives matches, like you can see up here in the top right. If everyone's kind of singing from the same hymn sheet and posts not identical, but stuff that has a unified look and feel to it, this will really help kind of build awareness of shared lives at a national level. If people start to see unified kind of aesthetic amongst different posts coming from different places, it really boosts awareness in a way that lots of different types of things that are inconsistent probably otherwise wouldn't. So we're going to talk you through now how to create your own designs. So the big blue button in the top left, create a design, is where you always start when you want to create a new post. So let's create a design. And as you can see now, it's given us the option of absolutely tons of stuff, from lesson plans, recipes, YouTube channel art, YouTube thumbnails. But the ones we're interested in are all near the top here, and it's because they're the most commonly used. So let's say we want to create a Facebook post. We select Facebook post, and that now takes you through to a screen similar to the one we saw before. And on the left-hand side here, this is the kind of business end of this. These different icons down the left-hand side in this dark grey column here are where you select the different elements that you want to use. And if you look over to the right, that is where your design will start to take shape. And the shape that it's in, which is kind of like it's a square, and I think it's 1080 by 1080 pixels, which is the optimum size and shape for a Facebook post. And as I mentioned before, it will do the same for you with Twitter. It creates the template to be the exact right size from the get-go, so you don't have to worry about that, which is good. So there's tons of stuff in here that you can use, free elements, free shapes, free images and stuff that Canva offers you to be able to use when creating a post. There are some also that you can pay for, but as we argued before, we want to be using our kind of natural strengths and content and photographs that we've already got. So in order to do that, oh, can everyone still hear me? It's saying my connection's unstable.
Yes, it's
fine.
fine.
Right, so begin with uploads here. So click uploads. And as you can see, this is another library of basically all the images that we've ever uploaded to create our own, to be able to create our own posts. They include, our logos, good photographs, different types of branded image and all that sort of thing. So usually we've got enough in there now that we'd probably select something from this, but to be able to upload an element from scratch, simply click this blue button here in the top left, so upload an image or a video. It will let me. Now then, so here is some of the images, and I don't know if you can see them all, but so all these images that you can see, 800 by 800 without text, they are all available in the digital toolkit for you to use as the basic background and template for your own social media posts. So once you start using this and you go online to the toolkit, and you can have access to any of these to create as the background. So let us select, go with this one on 3. Open that up. And it's loading. It's loading. Great. So it's now available for selection in here. We click on it, and there we go. So I don't know why it's not filled up the screen entirely, but you basically, once you've added an element into here, you can kind of do whatever you want with it. Drag it around.
Just watch that, the position though, because like that guy's head is cut off there.
Yeah, I didn't mean to really do that, to be honest.
It's not a great picture because everyone's sat around.
Well, but they're outside, aren't they? And they're having a laugh, right? So this works, if you think about this, like basically like a collage that's super easy to manipulate. You can choose where you position stuff. You can like move it all around to wherever it is that you're happiest with. Obviously, because this was created in the right dimensions, we want this to fill up the entire background. So if you just click Control or Shift whilst you're dragging, click at the corner and drag, that will retain the shape of the image as you rescale it, so it won't squash itself flat. So you can drag that to match up to the frame, and there's the background.
Stretch stuff from the corner.
Yeah. So that's just again. So once you've picked the corner there, it'll hide. There'll be a little blue border around the image, and then you can start to drag it. So we've now got this filling the frame, and this is the background that we want. And because this has been nicely pre-prepared, we don't necessarily want a load of other images and elements on here. So we don't necessarily need to do any dragging around with this one. But we can't just have this. We want text. We want it to be kind of like, I guess, like a meme. And to add text, you'll see on our box of tricks on the left-hand side with the column of everything that you could ever want to use. You select text, the big T. You can add, I suppose we all want to add a body of text this time. But heading, these are just different sizes basically of text.
They're a bit more difficult to manipulate, the heading and subheadings. They just kind of stick to one format sometimes. The body is easier to play with.
If you've only got 1 or 2 words and you want them to be really bold, then that's, it might be worth selecting that. But usually you're going to want a couple of sentences on here. So it's better to select body text. Now, when you've clicked that, which we did, it automatically appears dead center in the picture. Again, we want to move this around. We want to be able to manipulate it. So just click and hold on that body of text, and then you can just drag it to wherever you want it. And really helpfully, I mean, see these little purple lines that are cropping up there to help you try to center the text. So, I don't want it over there. But if I start dragging it over here, it starts to show me the center line of the image. And, it's nice and symmetrical if I have that line going through the center of the text. So we have it up there. At the moment, it's got default text in it. So if we click within the box and double click it, it's now highlighted that text. And we want to get rid of that. And let's think of some cool text. So I'll take an element from some of the pre-prepared social media posts that we've put in the toolkit for you. And we'll say something like this. Did you know that 87% don't quote me on this exact statistic, I think it's 87, people in shared lives, excuse my typing, in shared lives felt that it improved social life. Thank you, shared lives carers. And then we'll do a little hashtag as well, shared lives.
Well, you don't really need that on there because it's not going to work, is it?
Well, it won't work in the way that a hashtag.
Hashtags are used on social media to group conversations together. We'll come on to that in another training, but.
Right, so we've got the text as we want it in there. Now, this is where, once you're happy with what the text says, you can move on to manipulating like what it looks like, basically. Its color, the type of font, and whether it's bold or italic. And again, if you highlight the full text like that, you'll see there's a little white bar up here which which allows you to select all those different categories which I just mentioned. So we have got a specific font that we use, and as you can see here, this is Open Sans Light, and that is well, we worked hard to settle on a particular type of font that our organisation would use for all of our branded communications. We've got one for headers and one for body. The one for the body is Open Sans, and the one for headers is ASAP. So we're happy that this is in the right font, but let me just, if you have a particular font that you use for your local authority, for your scheme communications, and if you haven't settled on one yet, I would recommend doing that, because that helps with the consistency that we were talking about before with branding.
We'll just use the Open Sans stuff. I think it makes everything look like we're connected to each other.
Yeah, but I think, Phoebe, am I right in thinking that you need to download that? So we might need to include that in the digital toolkit for how to download those fonts.
I don't know. I think this is on Canva. They've got lots of fonts, so.
Yeah. So we're happy with the font. We're happy with the font. Maybe I want this to be bold, so bolden it up. And that's made it look a bit squashed together, actually. So I might increase the size of the text box. And again, you do that by going to the top corner of the box, like you would with the corner of the background image, and just drag it ever so slightly till you're happy with the size.
Space is really important on these designs. So the key to good design is making sure there's enough space around the photos and the text.
Yeah, the more empty space, paradoxically, the better it looks and the easier it is to follow with the eye, the more powerful it looks. So you're obviously always trying to balance, trying to get all the text that you need in there with kind of how it looks, because the greater space there is, the better. So probably wouldn't advise using much more text than this, but I mean, sometimes it can't be helped when you've got a particular quote or something that you want to include. But so we've fiddled around with the size of the text box. You can actually, up here, manually change the size of the text as well. So if we wanted it to be massive, we could select a different number here on the font size, and likewise we could make it smaller. And finally, white as a text color works quite well here because it's on a dark kind of bluey grey background, which is one of our brand colors. But just say we want it to be something different. You'll see down here, we've got a couple of default colors that we've used in the past, and this coral kind of red here looks quite familiar, and I think that's one of our brand colors as well. So, but you can pick a new color on here. You can input the color code if you've got a particular color that you'd like to use, or you can just select from one of these different kind of basic colors.
Or look, it's got colors from the photo as well, which is quite nice.
Yeah, so you could actually, I mean, if we wanted to, I'm sure we could probably select the pink from that guy's shirt and use that, but I won't go into that now. I don't think you need to understand that yet.
Michael, could you make that font just plain Open Sans and then put a paragraph before the thank you? I think that'll just make more space.
That's plain open sans, and then what? Put a paragraph.
I think that's better. It looks a bit more squashed.
And I mean, there we go. That's our image. I'm just going to show actually, because so for us, and this is a good example to choose actually, because some of the branded templates that we use have already got our logo on them. But for your scheme, you're going to want to add your logo to all of your everything that you produce, because that's important for your own brand recognition. So if we want to do that, let's add. We add our elements. We go back to we go back to uploads. Upload an image or video. Oh, I don't know why my logo.
Yeah, so we've got a couple of questions about the backgrounds here. There are some. So these background images that we've created, they are all with the same photo and with the curves. There's like a selection of a few different ones. You probably could, we could create some of the curves for you and just get them, we could upload them to the webpage. So I'll make that a task to do. And then you can also obviously just use your own photo and create some background there, so you can add your own text in. That's fine. So you can just play around with the backgrounds. And then another question, how did you curve it, or is it automatic? So yeah, that image that we've got there, which has the photo and the curved top, we've got them designed specially for you, and they're on the digital toolkit page, so that's automatic.
Yeah,
on the side of the screen there's a few different background options.
Yeah, you can use block color in the shapes element along the left-hand side as well, and overlay that with photos and vice versa, which is basically what how we've created this one. So you can have a play with that as well.
Oh, Michael, you're on mute.
That's odd, I didn't remember doing that. In the meantime, I have uploaded our Shared Lives Plus logo. And there it is. So probably doesn't work super well with this image because of the colours.
White one.
And we don't really need to use this. And the other thing to take into account is this is a backgroundless PNG, which is a special file that our designers have created for us, which means it's transparent, so it can go on different stuff. Usually, most of your logos will be on a white background, and if this one was, I don't know where my white background logo has gone, annoyingly, but it would have a more solid outline on the background. So at the moment,
I also think if you're making a leaflet, fair enough, you need your logo on it. But with these social media images, they're going to be going out on your branded social media channels, so you don't necessarily have to have everything. You know, it will already have your logo on it, so don't worry too much about getting everything on the image. It's better that it's a lovely, exciting picture.
Yeah.
Convincing copy.
Right, we've now added all the elements that we want to add. And we want to now be able to save and use this image. So up in the top here, and this is a little bit hard to see, it doesn't necessarily stick out super obviously. So the title of the image, and now I don't know why it's not done that this time, but it often will, especially I think it's if you use a header, if you input header text, it will let you, it will save the title of this image as that header image. But let's call this, click into this box up here and give the image the title that you want. So let's call it Shared Lives Week Post 1. And once we're happy with that, you click this download arrow here. Gives you the option to select a different file type. It recommends PNG, Portable Network Graphics.
I
And
usually go for JPEG on social media posts.
Yeah, a PNG is like a bit higher quality, but I suppose a JPEG's more versatile, and some computers might struggle to open it actually. So yeah, select JPEG, and then click download. It's now trying to flog me the Pro version, which I've never tried, and I won't be trying this time either. So we'll close that, and the image is now there, and it's ready for you to use, and it'll have gone into your downloads folder. So if you can't work out where it is immediately, usually most people's downloads become visible in the little toolbar on the bottom left. So
can you just scroll down your screen a bit, because it's not showing on the
what isn't showing?
The download, you know, at the bottom left.
It won't really let me scroll down. That's as far down as it goes for some reason.
Cool. So there's like a little bar that opens up and the file gets stored in your download. But like Michael says, you can go to your downloads folder and it'll be there.
Now then, so I have, I've just downloaded it. Can you see that? Is that coming up on my screen?
No.
What about now?
Yeah, I can see the folders.
Can you see that? Can you see the image now?
Can you click on downloads?
You share.
Just a list of folders or files.
It's not giving me. Oh, here we go. What about this now? Hang on.
There you are.
Yeah. So there's our completed image. And yeah, it's ready to start using, so you could post it straight away onto Facebook. This is a Facebook image, so there are ways. There's obviously the option to select a Twitter image as well, which does the same thing and takes care of the right that image dimension sizes. So I noticed that the hour is nearly up again. The time flies. And we still need to cover off curating content, which is about sharing posts. And we also need to squeeze in the Q&A. I suppose maybe...
Any quick questions?
Many quick questions. I know there's quite a bit going on the chat.
Did we cover off closed groups the other day? About closed Facebook groups.
No, I'm going to use that for another. I'm going to put that in another session, I think, because there's quite a lot to say about groups, and it's quite an important tool. So we'll add that to the growing list of sessions that we're going to have to cover. We've got a question from Janice saying, if I was going to use the uploaded images, could I add my own photo with the same type of background?
Yeah, so we could
use our own logo on the same colors. So you could certainly add your own logo. I suppose the issue with the curved swoosh background that I just showed you is you wouldn't be able to use that swoosh element and add your own photograph to it.
I just said that we'd create our own curves and we can send them around to everyone.
Yeah, we can. So we could send you just the curve bit, basically. Yeah. And the way you would do that, actually, well, no, yeah, you would upload that just in the same way that I went through to upload the background. But instead, you'd do that, and then you'd upload the photo that you wanted to use, and there's ways that you can position it to make sure that the black swoosh block is at the front, so it kind of frames the photo as you want it. So yeah.
And then Kerry's asked a question. Facebook will not let us set up a @username, saying we do not have the permission. Is that on your profile, Facebook profile, Kerry? This is where I wish we were in a meeting, not a webinar.
Can you enable the chat feed? Can you enable people to?
It's on the page. Yeah. So I think.
Kerry, have you been able to set up the page and it's just the user?
Set the page up.
Okay. I suppose I'd need to see it. And I don't really understand why it wouldn't say you wouldn't have the permissions. Have you got is everyone in the scheme using the same login at the moment, or have you did different people have access to the page?
Your page is looking fab. Well done setting it up. It looks really good. Does that mean that you can't post if you've not got a username? Okay, well, it's 1 o'clock now. Perhaps we can. Kerry's saying thank you.
So if you can post, I'd say don't worry about it for now. What it does, there is a setting when you begin the page, which I probably should have gone through when I talked about establishing your page profiles. It creates it automatically, and often it just comes up with like a kind of garbled or a default version based on what you've used as the username. Is that what's happened to your page, Kerry? Is it what? It must have an it must have.
Yeah, it just doesn't look like there is one. Strangely.
What scheme is that? Sorry.
Shared Lives, Hertfordshire.
It's usually on.
But it's looking really fresh. I love that image at the top. We'll close the training now. If anybody, I'm sure you all want lunch, and then we'll keep talking if anybody has any other questions. Thank you.
Yeah, we hang on.
We're really excited to make a big splash on the 15th of June. So yeah, thank you for getting prepared and talking to your comms teams and thinking about what kind of content and images you've got ready to share. And keep coming back to us for questions, or if you need a hand doing something, feel free to get in touch.
Jackie Crowther says she's not in the Google group and would like to be added into any invitations for the future webinars. Yeah, we'll get that sorted, Jackie. We'll let's have a look. Catherine, do we copy these onto our photos folder? Oh, that's Catherine from Shared Lives Plus. And I think she's darted off, but yeah, if you the social media images on the toolkit, the templates that are there, just download them from the website, and then they'll be in your downloads folder, and then they'll be and then you can drag them into another folder if you want.
Oh yes,
they'll be there ready to use.
Catherine Williamson wanted to know about how to upload a video and picture at the same time. So if I share my screen with you now, I can just take you through that quickly, if that's all right, Michael.
What's that? Sorry, about posting.
I'm just going to show Catherine how to upload a picture and a video at the same time.
To Facebook?
Well, I'll show on Twitter first. Can you see this, Catherine?
I can't.
Oh, it says that I'm screen sharing. Let's just try that again.
Why can everyone else see it and I can't?
Can you see now?
Yeah.
And can Catherine see? I can't see the chat.
Yeah, she can.
Yeah, okay, cool. So you're on Twitter. So you're the same thing. You go to the image button here. I'll just get some images up for us. So just trying to find a video as well. So that's the photo or the image, that's the same thing. And then you press the plus. Oh no, hold on.
I don't think Phoebe, I'm not sure that you can post a photo and a video at the same time. what will appear when you post a video is a still or a thumbnail of that video.
But how do you add multiple images? I'm sure
you can add multiple you can add several images. So if you click the X there, and then click that again.
I think.
Go to a folder where there's a couple that you might want to use. And just control and click in here is an easy way of doing it. So do that top right one maybe.
I'll just try and see if there's a video I can.
Yeah, Catherine, I don't think you can add videos and images to the same post. You can add a group.
There's an image. Right, there we go. That's a film. And then that's a Bright Spark image. So I just pressed Control and then clicked on them. That selects both things at the same time, and we'll just see if that has worked. Oh, it says, please choose either one GIF or upload 4 images. Oh, okay, so you can't upload a video and photo on Facebook. I'm sure that you could, but anyway. And then if you wanted to add 4 pictures, you just select the ones you want. So I'm holding down Control as I click on these, and then selected 4, press OK. Fingers crossed, there they all are, and you can edit them. So I won't tweet that, but hopefully that answers how to add multiple photos. And then on Facebook, let's just see if I can. That's our profile page.
That's our personal page, Phoebe. Personal account rather than the page.
Sorry, yeah, that's what I meant.
All right.
But where's the Shared Lives Plus one gone?
Go to home.
Ah, there it is. So that's our group page. And then to add photos and videos, I was pretty sure you can do this, but.
You may, on Facebook, I think you can, there are more options, but.
So let's go back to that. This is one of the award submissions. So I hope they don't mind.
This might be possible on Facebook now, I think. It might give you enable you to.
Oh.
Yeah.
I just press Control and click on both the video and the image. Press Publish. I was going to take some time to upload.
We use a mix. So when we have films or videos to share, we always tend to upload everything to our YouTube channel, and a quicker way of linking to video on Facebook is by uploading to YouTube and just cutting and pasting the link from the YouTube video into the text box of where you want to post on Facebook. That should pull up a thumbnail of the video, so that it kind of has an image, has a kind of static image already, and you'll be able to click play through that, I think. But if you want to be able to host the video on your page where you can track how many people have seen it and stuff, then this is how to do it. This is how you publish a video.
It actually gets more views, doesn't it, if it's hosted on Facebook as opposed?
Yeah, because I think it automatically plays when people are scrolling through their feeds. Yeah, it's worth doing both. I always anyway. You know, it's good to try and host stuff on the Facebook page. And
this is taking some time. I wish I'd used a smaller video now. What's happening on the chat? I can't see it all.
Halima said you can upload a video and comment with a photo, which of course you can. Obviously wouldn't all be in the initial post, but that's one way around it.
Yeah. And you want to think also about, I guess, you don't want to overload. You don't want to overload the post either in some way. So if you've got the video and you've got images, if you want people to watch the video, then I think it's quite good for that to be sort of the primary thing that you can see.
I think as well, video does tend to get better engagement over still images. I mean, images or video is better than neither, but video does get more engagement and crops up more on people's feeds, especially if it's the actual uploaded video file rather than a YouTube link, as the was saying before.
Can you remember where that GIF is stored, Nick?
There's some GIFs for the health project and NHS folder you can look at.
Is it in the Expo folder?
Just seen Richard's comment, which might be an issue for other schemes as well that are local authority led. Potentially you have to adhere to a wider set of guidelines and things. But you know, we're happy to try and support you with that if we can. You know, we think it's important that shared life schemes should have an element of autonomy to be able to, you know, create and generate really good footage, and that people see shared lives as a sort of national thing and brand that we can all, you know, work together on. So we're happy to try and support you there, Richard.
Also in the toolkit on the website, in the guide document, there's a section, the header is housekeeping with your local authority, in which we do recommend that you, if you're really planning to start expanding your social media activities and really trying to start making the most of it, consult with your local authority comms team beforehand, because it's important to kind of be on the same page. It's important for them to kind of know what your plans are. It's just for the sake of harmony and consistency, it's definitely worth being on the same page. They may have quite specific rules about how they want to talk and what their branding is, and you'll need to kind of get some agreement up front on what to what extent your posts and your online tone of voice is going to reflect that. I mean, as Nick said, I think, you know, and as I've mentioned in the couple of webinars, is that Shared Lives is unique and it should have its own personality, and frankly it's just got more personality than perhaps some other types of public service communications material can kind of boast. So definitely don't want to lose that, but at the same time, you know, local authorities will have, you know, processes and rules about their tone of voice, which they've established for a reason, and it's important to be on the same page.
Right, this is taking too long, so I'm just gonna stop it and then add a shorter GIF that I found finally. Oh, where has it gone? You can also go from here. There it is.
Well, Catherine, the next webinar will be next week, and we'll send out a Zoom invite in today or in the next couple of days. I think it'll probably be Wednesday next week. I think, but yeah, we'll confirm that shortly, and we'll put it in daily update, and we'll send out a standalone reminder as well. And yeah, so we'll make sure that you don't miss it.
Right, we're nearly there.
Thanks, Catherine. Thanks for coming.
So here we've got a little video, hopefully, and a photo. Anyway, is Catherine still there? Because I feel like...
She's just left. She's just left.
Oh.
You took too long.
Catherine Williamson.
Yeah, she's had to dash off.
All right, well, anyway, I think we've got the idea. So that's the video and that's the post, and then we press post. Should we just end it there?
Yeah. All you need to do is click publish and then it's done. I don't think there are any other steps anyway.
Cool. All right.
We could go through, I mean, there's more stuff you can do when you publish a video, actually. Maybe that's something to add to the advanced session as well, around kind of how much info you put about it and selecting a thumbnail, like which image it rests on, basically, when it's posted as the still to introduce it.
Cool. Thanks, Michael. Thanks, Nick. Thanks, everyone, for joining us, and see you soon. Okay, bye.
Cheers, everybody. Bye.
Okay, I'll just end the Zoom meeting now.
Good stuff.
All right, speak soon.
In a bit.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.